What up, homies? I've had Rocket League for almost a year now, and ever since back when I started, it has been pretty obvious that my playstyle is highly mechanical in nature. This could be due to mostly playing ones, or it could be because when I try to tackle a new mechanic, I tend to find my own ways of learning it, which in my experience has been helpful for picking them up more quickly. As a result, I tend to develop my own ways of executing mechanics that might look a little bit different from what other tutorials might suggest. I'm not necessarily saying that my approaches to learning new mechanics are better, but they're usually different. If you've tried to learn flip resets before and couldn't, and you've watched a video or two explaining how to do them and still had issues, this video is for you. My goal here will be to offer you new or unconsidered ways of trying to learn flip resets, just in case my way of looking at them suits you more than advice from others has up to this point. Make sure to leave a comment down below letting me know if this was helpful, and without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so the first thing you're going to want to do is make distance. Videos typically suggest tapping the brakes while you're hitting the ball, but I prefer to boost towards the ball but stop boosting just before I hit it, because the brake method feels jerky to me. Letting off the boost just before hitting has the same effect of slowing the car slightly as it makes contact. Another suggestion I would make to create distance between the car and the ball is to speed into the ball rather than hugging it up the lip. If you are using the boosting method, this will fit right along with that due to the speed generated by boosting. To set this up properly, make sure to be at least one car length from the ball on the ground, thus giving you the space needed to accelerate into the ball. It will also help to hit the ball once it is far enough up the wall that you and it are both off of the lip completely. If you hit it before this point, the ball tends to go more up than out, which creates distance as intended but is pretty awkward to make use of. Now that the setup is taken care of, we will discuss tips to land on the ball. The first way I learned to get the flip reset was by chasing it through the air face up rather than the usual upside down, and recently this has come to be known as an Arsenal reset. I suggest starting with Arsenal resets to get a hang of actually landing on the ball and learning the feeling of getting the reset, because until you gain some XP with this, it can seem like you got the reset when you actually didn't. Start by flying straight at the ball. Basically, just give it a really nice and strong aerial hit. Once you feel comfortable with this, next try to stop boosting just a moment before you hit the ball. Get to the point where you can hit the ball accurately even though you're not boosting at the end. Once you have gotten that down, try tilting your car straight back at the same time you stop boosting. If you can do this correctly, you will land on the ball, and just like that you have gotten a flip reset. Next, learn to fly upside down. Thanovic has several great videos on learning aerial car control, and I have linked to one in the description. Once you have learned this, you can switch over to upside down flip resets pretty easily. When you switch to this style of flip reset, you may find that you have to aim at a different point on the ball. If you keep missing the reset when you first switch to upside down, and it is not related to difficulty controlling the flight while flipped over, then try aiming for the top third of the ball instead of the center. This may put you where you want to be. If you find this to not work either, try aiming for the bottom third instead. Once you start landing them upside down, your brain will naturally start to work out where to aim from that point on. When you start doing these, the reset will probably only happen if you fly in a very straight line to the ball and you're not crooked at all. But once your aerial control becomes advanced enough, you will find that using directional air rolls can make it possible to land the reset from much more awkward angles. Use of air rolls is definitely trickier, but once you get the hang of it, the directions and momentums you can land a flip reset from will become infinitely more diverse. Once you start landing the flip resets consistently, you're going to realize that that was the easy part. Now you have to actually use the flip. Fear not, using the flip is learnable too. The first suggestion I have for people who can land the reset but they can't use it effectively is to make yourself wait on using the flip. You may find yourself instinctually using the flip as soon as you get it, but instead of doing that, try repositioning your car such that it can make a nice hit. If this takes you all the way to the ground, so be it. Prioritize boosting and turning your car into a position that allows for a clean hit, and then flip. If getting into a nice position is proving troubling, one exercise to improve may be landing the flip reset, and then, without using the flip, transitioning into an air dribble. Another pretty helpful tip for making the flip meaningful is to be very mindful of your planar orientation. If your car is pointing towards the ceiling, for example, your flip is pretty much destined to suck. Try rotating so your wheels are facing the ground or the ceiling, and your nose is facing the ball, and then flip into the ball. You may find that this helps you to control the direction of the flip and increases the power of your hit. One major struggle I was having with using the flips, especially when I started moving into double flip resets, was that I couldn't orient myself to use the flip fast enough. By the time I was in position, I was barely a big jump from the ground and falling fast. What turned out to be super helpful for this issue was just landing the reset earlier. Next time you try a reset, try to get to the ball as fast as possible. The sooner you land the reset, the more time you have before the ground says hello. Finally, if you are finding yourself positioned beneath the ball pretty often, it may be in your interest to master stalls. It is super hard to flip into the ball from below it while you're in the air, but a stall is basically just you losing all of your vertical momentum. Therefore, if you and the ball are falling and you stall, it's going to clang off of you like Rocket Sledge clanging into his opponents. This may take practice, but it is a consistent strategy for hitting the ball from below. The last thing I want to discuss in this video is chaining resets together. There are various ways to chain flip resets, but the three that I can discuss are stall resets, evample resets, which are technically an improved stall reset, and rapid resets. A stall reset is when you position below the ball, point your wheels up at it, and stall. The ball bounces off the bottom of your car and you get a fresh reset. An evample reset is like a stall reset, except that you tornado spin into position below the ball. This might sound like it's just fancier, but the ball honestly bounces off the car so much more nicely when you do this. Stall resets tend to shoot the ball in the direction you're facing to some extent, while evample resets kinda just make the ball float right in front of you. Rapid resets are when you literally flip into landing another flip reset. This style is definitely better for people who find themselves struggling a lot with stalls, but if you can stall consistently, I would recommend learning the evample reset because it is a lot easier to set up other than the stall itself. I can stall pretty consistently and I find evample resets reasonably doable, but rapid resets are still not something I can land often. Alright homies, that pretty much sums it up for this video. Thank you for watching, and please let me know in the comments if this was helpful for you. Depending on the feedback on this video, I may make a video series called How Else Tutorials, which will follow the same premise as this video, but for topics across various games. Before I do that though, I need to hear from you guys whether this tutorial was helpful. If the answer is yes, go ahead and send it to your favorite Rocket League freestylers in training, and let them know I said what up homie. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys next week.